The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show. Available in your podcast app and on YouTube, the latest Square Ball update. We've got some pub chat nonsense, some more pub chat nonsense on the way. Very flimsy premise on which, hopefully, to make you buy our charity calendar. More on that in due course. First, this show is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. Great bunch of lads and lasses, Michael.
Very much so. I'm on the website now, you know. Would you believe? I'm actually looking at the vacancies. There are 2 conveyancing positions available.
That means to keep up with the demand, presumably.
One's a senior conveyancing assistant. I think I'm not going to go for the lower one.
Right.
Given my knowledge, I'll probably go for the senior one. Or I'll leave it to them.
Yeah.
Leave them to it. Leave it to them.
What's your biggest conveyancing tip that you could offer Levi Solicitors?
Do all the checks.
Right.
Do them all.
I think you should do a week's work experience with them. I just want to see you have a breakdown, basically.
I wouldn't want to put them all to shame with my extreme skills in conveyancing. Just make sure all the paperwork's done. Is that signed? Is that signed? Good. Exchange complete.
Wow.
Check there's no subsidence.
Subsidence?
Yeah.
Subsidence?
Subsidence.
You tell us, I don't know.
Anyway, speak to them.
And that's just the conveyancing. If you're there on work experience, you might do other things like...
wills.
And...
they'd probably be leaving me in charge of professional negligence.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Wouldn't you? And so on and so forth. Right, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan Moylan with you. Michael Normanton is over there, and Rob Conlon as well. The latest update. We are still in the international break. But Rob, you've been to Ellen Road. You watched a game?
I have. I just can't stay away from the place. It's always very...
I like how you delivered that. So, I absolutely love it there.
Really pleased to be going.
I love it there. No, it is actually... So I went to watch LAFC women against York. And it's always very strange going to Ellen Road and being there and everyone else is there to have like a nice time. It's all very like a wholesome, positive atmosphere. And it's very...
Do you want a toxic pit of vipers?
I do kind of miss it when it's like that, yeah.
Did anyone misplace a pass in the first minute and you went, fuck's sake! You're useless, go get off the fucking pit!
I think there were some people that were wanting to be like that. There were a lot of dads in Stone Island jackets, I noticed. And I sort of think, it's not the day for that, come on.
Sparking out York fans in the car park.
Yeah, it was nice to see a lot of like families there, a lot of kids being taken to what I reckon was like their first game. There was a dad sat next to me with his young daughter and she was getting really into strings for Yasmin, which I really liked as the players were coming out. And then Leeds played really well, took the lead after 2-3 minutes and scored a couple of really good goals after that. Twin sisters, Darcy and Drew Green, scored 2 similar goals, really, both kind of dribbling from around halfway and ended up in the penalty area and side-footing the ball in. And there's an interview with them too on LUTV, which is worth a watch. It's all just very wholesome. They're just buzzing about playing at Ellen Road. Their families being there, almost 5,000 people being there. I think they're both admitting that they were kind of shitting themselves as they're walking out to the pitch because they're not used to that. I also had sat behind me, there was, I presume, the family of Sarah Danby, who came on at half-time to shouts from what guessing was her mum, about bloody time, which I really enjoyed as well. So yeah, it was a good afternoon.
Nice. That is very nice. And if you want to get another taste of that as well, the chat we had with Liv Smart heading into the weekend, the LUFC women's captain, that is available in your podcast and your YouTube feed. So have a look for that. And yeah, very much hits you right in the feels, I imagine, when you're doing that. On a level possibly, it's hard to relate sometimes to the blokes when they're playing it because they're all millionaires and some of them, it turns out, might be dicks. Not the ones that we've got now, the ones who've all left us.
Well, Max Verber's fit again.
Well, should we segue into the international break? Did he get a full 90? Is that right?
And didn't play terribly. I didn't watch it, obviously.
He might not be a terrible footballer.
But according to the algorithm, he wasn't terrible.
Well, I was trying to find the highlights to see if I could blame him for, I think it was Slovenia's equaliser. They drew 1-1. But I couldn't find any highlights online. There was a lot of like FIFA replays or just screenshots of SofaScore. So I'm going to blame him anyway.
Is it a secret?
It could well be. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, that whole thing that goes on with YouTube where people just upload some FIFA highlights of a game that's happened to pretend it's that, but then clearly no one watches more than 5 seconds of it because you go, oh, it's a computer game.
My lad wanted to watch the Ballon d'Or announcement because kids are all obsessed with this sort of shit.
Kids in Rio Ferdinand.
Rio Ferdinand, yeah.
It was the brain of a child, let's be honest.
Yes, and tried to find the feed because it's L'Equipe, I think, who do the live stream, the French paper and website. And if you try and search, it's impossible to find. Just end up serving endless streams of shite of people talking about it or looped video from previous ceremonies and stuff. I was like, gave up in the end.
I mean, I say this very knowingly, but the internet is just full of bollocks, I think.
And we are on YouTube and
doing our best.
Have a look at the website.
Christmas merch. Get your Christmas merch.
Yeah, some more coming. There's some more coming as well.
I've got the wrong side. These ones are back in stock. We'd run out of these in medium and large.
That'll go really well on the audio version. We've run out of these.
Ah, yes, we have. Yeah, these ones. These the black shirts with the crowd sort of cartoony bit on the back.
There's some new stuff coming as well at the weekend. We think
new stuff, new hats, new shirts, new hoodies. Still got your boa jumpers in stock. Still got the calendars in stock.
Do you want to do the exclusive reveal now? Not show it, but say there is a new Bielsa design coming.
I think you've done it.
I think I've just done it.
We should all move on from him.
Never. If we're looking for scapegoats...
can I just say, by the way, when we were in the Max Verber section, I liked how you were picky enough that you went into the prep sheet and you changed the O so it had an umlaut over it, as if you would be unable to read it properly without...
Can I tell you what that is? So on my phone and or MacBook, I set up a shortcut so if the word Verber went in, it put the umlaut in. So it does it automatically. So I just pressed space at the end of his name to get rid of the little squiggly red line underneath it. It still doesn't deal very well with Brendan.
Well,
but I will...
Who does deal well with Brendan?
I'll overlook that. But yes, it's an autocorrect thing I set up just because I thought, I like the umlaut. Anyway, I was going to say, if we're looking for scapegoats, Champions League player Manor Solomon was the lowest rated player on the pitch versus France for Israel. Pretty one-sided 0-0.
It was weird that, because obviously, again, I'm not watching it. I'm having a break. It's International League. But yeah, the FOTMob momentum graph showed that Israel basically never had the ball, which I think may have been a problem if you're a creative attacking sort of player. But then it was decent apparently as Israel beat Belgium 1-0.
What else have we got then? So Wales played and everyone went when Joe Rodon got a whack to the head. It was 0-0 versus Turkey, but it looks like he's fine.
I mean, he bangs his head every game.
Yeah.
So you don't... Well, I mean, we should worry, but with him, I'm just like, yeah, that's just another Joe Rodon game. It's fine. He wore 2 different bandages, I noticed as well. He had like a colourful one at one point and then just a black one, I think. But apparently it was very good. Again, didn't watch it. Apparently Carl Darlow was also very good, considering he was having like cigarette lighters thrown at him as well from the crowd.
What do you think of Darlow's moustache?
Good tash game.
And a little, is it called a soul patch? That bit underneath when you have the bit on the bottom lip as well?
That thing.
That bit, yeah.
Yeah, right, I don't know.
Like the Robert Perez sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anything that's attached to my face, and I don't know if it's the same for you two, is I was too tired today to remove it.
Most days, yeah.
just let it hang there. Question for you, right? So this thought of Joe Rodon banging his head led me into a question about chickens. Do you know how long it is that a chicken was beheaded and survived for?
Oh, like 2 years or something stupid.
No, you've done that thing of overguessing. You're not.
I feel like my kids have got this in like a Ripley's Believe It or Not annual or something.
Exactly that. Yeah, you've done the thing of overguessing.
Oh, sorry.
So could you just change that to say a year?
Oh, 2 weeks probably.
No, 18 months.
18
Michael.
months.
It was Mike the chicken in Colorado in the 1940s. He survived for 18 months without a head.
What?
And I wondered, could Joe Rodon do the same and still be an effective centre half?
See if he notices.
Not as dangerous on corners, but could he do it? Could he outsurvive Mike the chicken? Mike the chicken went on tour, you know.
Is that right?
Became a celebrity chicken, yeah.
Never could really enjoy it, I suppose, could he?
No.
Just brought out, people staring at him. Yeah, I imagine Rodon's...
Is that how you feel when you're selling the fanzine in the tunnel?
I imagine Rodon's banging his head before and after games too, isn't he? Lockers, on and off the bus.
Right.
People are probably putting stuff near him because they know he'll bump into it and then do his crossface.
Just leave the bandage on, Joe. It's for the best.
Was it in like as a kid, like in either the Dandy or the Beano, one of the comics? Was it Calamity Jane, who was always getting into trouble? There was one of the characters. So I'm going to say Calamity Joe.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
New character.
That implies he's a bad defender though, which is harsh.
Oh, yeah, that's true. No, he's a good defender. But could he do it without a head? That's all I'm asking. Probably.
Oh, he also, when a Turkey player missed the penalty late on, Joe Rodon just got in his face and screamed at him, which I thought as well. Go on, Joe.
Good.
Dan James came on, is that right?
Yeah, for the second half.
Yeah.
Good.
Are we going to do any headless chicken jokes? Or
No, that's me. That is me.
that's Dan James 1.0, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's dead good now.
It's a focused football machine now. They're playing again then, the Welsh, on Tuesday night. So that's after we record this, against Iceland.
Is Craig Bellamy a good manager? Like all the people Wales fans I see online seem to be like saying he's gotten playing well and in an interesting style. I just can't quite fathom it. Because he was such a knob.
I saw a clip of him being quite nice in his press conference afterwards as well, like thanking the media and stuff. I thought, this is not how I remember you.
Yeah, he was a very spiteful hate figure, was Craig Bellamy, as a young person growing up.
Yeah.
Really didn't like him.
I to the point where I actually supported Danny Mills getting sent off by simply booting him because he got so sick of him just being being annoying and being near him. Just was like, just going for your shins.
A break from character for the cultured right back, that I felt.
Yes, very much so, yeah.
Yeah. Will Wales and Joe Rodon deal with the clap from Iceland? Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
Did you catch any of England-Ireland?
Nope.
No, nor did I. Well, I did. That's not true. I did, Rob. I saw some of the first half, switched it off, missed all 5 goals, switched it back on for the end.
Yeah, do you know, in fact, I tell a lie as well. I watched the last 5 minutes of the first half and I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw a bit of it almost by accident. I turned the telly on and the England game was on. I was like, oh, right, this is happening. I saw a few of the goals. Can't remember who scored them. Don't care. It was fine.
There's a lot of first timers, I think, wasn't it? So
the bit I did see at the end of the first half, which was quite good, was is it Malumbi, the guy in the midfield? And
Samantha.
That's the one. Him and Kane had a bit of a wrestling match, but then he went down as if Kane had really injured him. Then Kyle Walker came to pick him up, and he was continuing to thrash around like a toddler being put in a car seat. It was nice.
Kane?
No, he was like, because they were obviously saying, get up, you're not hurt.
Yeah.
But into him, so he's going, like doing that sort of stiff legs, arching his back.
The arch in the back is the difficult
throwing himself
one,
around. So that was vaguely entertaining, but yeah, it wasn't enough to draw me in for the second half, which is when some stuff actually happened.
Yeah. I think I'd like to care about England, but I find it difficult given that Leeds United are so demanding on my time and resources.
As well, I did watch the first England-Ireland game, and it was terrible. Like it was. I was going to say
it's like Leeds Plymouth, wasn't it?
I was going to say they fully San Marino'd it, but San Marino are a winning machine now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they won again the other night, didn't they?
They've been promoted, haven't they?
Scored 3 goals for the first time in their history.
They're going to actually have now the Championship to Premier League thing, where they've been promoted in the Nations League, and they're going to fucking hate it because they're going to be like, we never get to win anymore. Put us back down again. We preferred it down there.
Is Altanaka playing at the moment? Because that's the one I'm worried about.
He is.
So we're recording, this is lunchtime on Tuesday. Japan playing against China.
Has he made it to half-time yet, or almost?
They're winning.
Right.
Japan are 1-0 up. It's almost half-time. When I checked earlier, Tanaka was their highest-rated player.
Still is.
Is he?
Oh, actually, no.
He's changed on
Mitoma. That's a Premier League bias.
Yeah.
I believe. But, actually, no, that's the average. Ignore me.
Are you looking at a different team? Mitoma's not playing.
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at a different thing.
Okay.
Looking at an old game, aren't I? So, yeah, just ignore me completely. We don't need ratings to know that Tanaka's the best player on the pitch, do we?
No, morally he is. What else have we got then in terms of internationals? Brendan got a poorly tum-tum, so didn't travel to Jamaica for the USA. But they played Jamaica again, did they? Is it a double-header?
Yeah, they were playing them twice. I think it was a 2-legged thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
They went all that way for 20 minutes.
Yeah, It was a big waste of his time, basically.
Yeah, he got flu-like symptoms.
Right.
So he didn't. Yeah,
Has he got that from the plane, do you think?
Just stayed there.
Do you always get that when you come back off holiday? You're always ill afterwards because you've been in the plane, the old...
I don't, because I'm hard.
Right. How do you stay hard?
Increasingly difficult these days. Let's not fuel the algorithm. I get enough of that already. It's all hair transplant and erectile dysfunction when you get over 40 in it.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, where do we go from there? Mateo Joseph subbed off with half an hour to go in Spain's 21s 0-0 draw with England. Darko JB came on.
Is that right?
Him? Yes, I think someone might have got injured.
Future midfield star?
Probably, hopefully. But yeah, I think someone dropped out of the squad, so he got promoted, maybe. Again.
I want him to be good. I feel like he's had a difficult ride of it for whatever reason. I don't know.
It doesn't seem that likely he will be.
No?
It feels like we may have overpaid massively for him.
Can you think why that might have been?
There used to be a guy here called Victor Orta. I don't know if you remember.
We need to speak about Victor.
I don't know if you remember his style of transfer dealing.
If you've missed the quotes this week, they've been doing the rounds. Who is he speaking to? Liga Portugal Business School. Reported by The Record. Decided not to pay just under 12 million quid for Victor Gyökeres. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we paid for Jorginho Rutter, and then he wasn't capable of playing for us for a bit.
Was that at the same time? Is this?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ!
Because we were in the Premier League. Coventry were down.
He was scoring a load of goals in the Championship that year. We took one look at him and went, no, thank you. Okay. Even though he was like an actual number 9 as well, which is what we needed that season.
We'll spend 30 million quid on a player we don't really know where he plays.
Yeah, on a winger, number 10, sometimes striker.
Genuine question for you. Knowing what you know now, would you rather we signed Georgie or Gyökeres?
Gyökeres. Because I think there's a reasonable chance he actually scores goals in that season, which, potentially keeps us up.
What about you?
Yeah, definitely. And as a striker, like you say.
And I wouldn't have had my heart broken.
Almost too obvious, which is something we didn't do.
Yeah.
Why is Orta saying this? What is that? Why? Like, what does he think is going to happen here? People go, "Oh, nice one." Yeah, an eye for a player.
Cases like that of Gyökeres are the good surprises that football gives us, he says.
But it doesn't come as an entire surprise. If somebody can score loads of goals, chances are they might be able to do it at a high level, and you give it a go, don't you?
Yeah. Someone who scored loads of goals in this country at just a slightly lower level.
Yeah.
It's kind of worked in the past, doesn't it?
It is undoubtedly, I know we're being facetious, but it is undoubtedly a step up. But surely those are the ones, the best of the Championship, which is a phrase that's been doing the rounds in recent years. Surely that's the sort of area you recruit from. Somebody who's on a hot streak, on an upward curve in their career. Not that Georgie wasn't, but he was far more of a punt, wasn't he?
Well, we had that the summer when we got promoted. There was a lot of talk about, the club are going to target the best of the Football League. And it was like Ollie Watkins and Eze and players like that. And then,
well, we had Ollie Watkins in the room. This is the thing. We had him in there. I think he'd been up for, he got as far as medical maybe. And then they decided, no, we'll take Rodrigo instead. He was 30. And again, didn't really fit the system.
No. So yeah, went well though, didn't it?
So cheers, Victor. And again, you're right. Knowing what we know now, we went down, didn't we? So we'd rather have not gone down.
That's the main factor. Whether or not he'd have been, we might have Leedsed him in. He might have been absolutely useless. Whereas instead he's now, he's got a scum in his face, essentially. Somebody's
going to pay 80. Well, their clothes clowns will pay 100 million for him, won't they?
I will be rubbish there as well, so that's fine.
Yeah, you would think so.
Be always the one. It'll always be another one of the ones that got away.
Bloody Glazers spending more money on these players.
We need to talk about Firpo.
Of course we do.
Firpo, because he played for the played in the Dominican derby. Dominica against the Dominican Republic.
Smashed them 6-1.
Those Dominica scum. I've no idea. There might be
lovely people.
Absolutely lovely place, lovely team.
Looked quite nice to be fair. I watched the highlights and was like, I wish I was there. Just looked really cool.
It's the best group to be in because it seems like as well, he just goes and like plays shit teams and has a nice time.
Yeah, although
go to the Caribbean, win by 4 or 5 goals every time.
Didn't get to play up front this time. He's actually played as a left wing back, no goals or assists. Although again, watching the highlights, he seemed to spend the second half playing as a right winger, which I don't know if that was instruction or he just fancied it, but he can, so fair enough.
It'd be interesting to see how they go on actually, because they play Bermuda tonight as we record, and they seem to be the other decent team in their little group that they're in. They did win 3-2 last time to Dominican Republic, but they didn't have Firpo playing. So it'd be interesting to see the difference he makes, because he's got to be worth 3 goals.
Dominican Republic is not actually that close to Dominica.
Oh,
it's the same.
Not a big derby then.
Same island chain in the Caribbean, so there's Dominican Republic, which shares its line with Haiti, and then you're going Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, Saint Martin, Antigua, Barbuda, Dominica. It's about 5 islands away.
Oh,
so you don't confuse the two, I suppose.
Is that why they've done it? Do you think?
Yeah, when you're making landfall.
Cool.
But I am imagining myself now as a pirate. In about the 17th century.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. Yep. What else?
think that's about it, really. There was someone did get in touch in the mailbag just to clear this up. Actually, someone said we did an episode with Not the Top 20. Someone said, Dan, you look like you're in a cloud of mustard gas after the intro. Yeah. Michael, on the other hand, looked as though he was in another studio, looking fit and well. Explain yourself. Yeah,
it's just the little like auto cue thing we've got here. Couldn't turn the brightness down on it because the settings detached from it. And Ali, who was always on the screen, where the camera's behind the screen, and it was very bright, so it was shining basically a really bright white light from his background into the camera lens. And I couldn't turn it off because it wouldn't let me change it. But other than that, everything's working fine.
Fair enough.
So that's
people
why.
will be shocked to know that you've got a little auto cue. Well, that sounds vaguely professional.
Well, it's better rather than me sitting here gazing into my laptop reading stuff when you're talking, like doing the opening part of the show. Mm-hmm. It's better to talk down the camera, isn't it? It's less rude.
Like you're in a smoky room.
Eye contact. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Do you permit eye contact?
You're well enough.
Do you prefer eye contact or no eye contact?
Ideally, yes.
Yeah. Right. Makes it more personal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good stuff. Time now then for some more pub chat nonsense. Are you looking forward to this?
People have said it's flimsy. People have said, it doesn't warrant the airtime, but here we are.
Still ploughing ahead.
It's never stopped us before. What
we'd really like you to do is buy this charity calendar, because all the money that we get from these, and some more on top, all the profits going to Leeds cancer charities, including the Leeds Breast Cancer Action Group.
It is the Leeds Cancer Centre and the Leeds Breast Cancer Research Action Group.
Right, I was nearly right.
Let's give them their full names.
And the good thing about the calendar this year is it's timeless. One of the problems is we've always ended up selling half the players on the bloody thing. So it's a classics calendar that will hang beautifully in your kitchen on the wall, and you can fill stuff out on the dates, which is quite important for a calendar.
You can see what coincides with Robert Molinar's birthday, for example.
So on the calendar, there are a load of birthdays from each month. So Leeds players who were born in each month. And there's a little team with a little formation at the bottom of the page. And we are now pitting those teams against one another in, as Michael said, a really quite flimsy format. But, here we are. Let's have a bit of fun.
It's for charities, this sort of.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell some for that. So...
But the money is going to charity.
So
you made it sound there like we're trousering the money.
No, I mean, this feature is not technically a charity. This is just for us trying to sell some calendars, which then does make money for charity, is what I mean.
Right.
You can turn this off, is what I'm saying.
You can turn it off and just donate to charity if you prefer.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or you can go to thesquareball.net/calendar if you want to buy one, or you can just find them on our merch store. Anyway, let's crack on. So what we did is we drew some groups, if you missed the previous episode, where we seeded them, didn't we, the months. We drew them into 4 groups of 3.
The seeds obviously being completely meaningless because these are random strength teams based on birth month, but still. So
we said we were seeding July because was it promoted in July under Bielsa?
Yeah.
December because it's Christmas and that's fun.
Yeah.
August because you're optimistic and it's sunny. And June because nothing bad has happened to Leeds in June as far as we're aware.
The Bates admin stuff might have been June, but...
Right.
It's happier than the other months, usually.
Yeah. There's no actual football.
You feel generally carefree. You're looking forward to a tournament normally by that point, aren't you? And then we've got the months that we wanted to rank bottom seeds, which were May, because pain, suffering often in May, playoff finals. Why did we decide on April? Was that
Usually the Easter collapse, isn't it?
The Easter collapse, and it was Wigan specifically, I think.
March, April both fall into Easter collapses, I suppose.
Yeah. Is that why we said March?
I think so.
Something like that.
It's near to April.
January, cold and skint. And so that meant that February, September, October, November went into the middle group. So Group A was July, February and May playing off against each other. It was February that won that group and progressed to the semi-finals. And then in Group B was December, September, and April and December progressed through to the semi-finals. So we need to find out who their opponents are with all that exciting stuff over. And Group C, should we do that first? It's August against October against March. So August and October. Who's in the August team, Michael?
It's a strong start. Nigel Martin.
Very good.
Then you've got a Bielsa heavy defence. You've got Ayling with Berardi at centre-back alongside Cooper with Ian Hart on the left. Then you've got the midfield is not looking as good. You've got Steve Stone and Felipe da Costa on the wings.
Right.
That's problematic, I would say. And then you've got Hopkin and Doyle as a sort of quite a tough workhorse type midfield.
I like the look of the front line, though.
Then McCormack and Bridges.
Are we playing a 4-4-2? Are they playing?
Yeah, I think McCormack Aldridge, either of them could drop off.
Flair players, full of class.
Yeah.
So I think that's a relatively strong lineup from August. So who do we have in, what other month was it? It was October. So who's playing for October?
In October, you have Martin's rival for the number 1 shirt in that time, Paul Robinson. Then you've got Frank Gray, left back. You've got Hunter and Ormsby, Paul Reaney at right back.
That feels like a very strong.
That feels pretty strong. Midfield, pretty strong too. Somerville and Wallace on the wings. Wallace is a left winger. He's a bit of a stretch.
It was shoehorned in. I was thinking of his goal against Spurs.
Okay. Yeah, I'll allow it. And then Ribeiro and Sheridan in midfield. And then Smith, the Allen variety, and Mark Viduka up front.
Strong. I think that's quite strong. There's a lot of attacking talent there for October, but can Nigel Martin keep him out for August?
I feel like overall there's a bit more balance to the October team.
I mean, Steve Stone and Felipe da Costa aren't in the October team, which I would give the advantage to October.
Is the midfield winning this? Is it Ribeiro
so.
and Sheridan who are seeing this one home?
Yeah, you're relying on, because Doyle isn't going to give you any creativity from midfield. Stone's an old baldy.
A bald man.
Da Costa is a slightly creative liability.
Yeah, get sent off.
On the left. It depends. I mean, you've got a very professional backline of Nigel Martin with Ayling, Brady and Cooper who've got the discipline, but then you've got Russ McCormack thrown in the mix as well. I don't see that team winning.
Saying that, if you wanted some flair off the bench in August, got Adrian on there.
Oh.
Probably similar to Da Costa a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'd be your sub. Farke would do that 70 minutes. Da Costa off, Adrian on.
Oh, there's David Healy on there if you want to bring him on the wing.
Oh, yeah, of course. Another good right wing option.
Are we all agreed then that this is a win for October?
I think so.
Yeah, looks stronger to me. And who's
I feel like Smith and Viduka's a tried and tested partnership as well.
Who's getting the goals? What's the score? Is Shez stroking in a free kick? John Sheridan there?
2-0.
Yeah, very solid 2-0.
Solid 2-0. No, it's not too high scoring because I think there's a decent defence for August, but it's 2-0 to October, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look at Ayling on the right wing. He's trying to get Steve Stone to play along, to play with him. He's like, I'm gonna overlap, and then you need to set off running, and he'd be like, oh, you've seen me.
I think Ayling's just ignoring him, isn't he?
Right then, let's see how August get on and if they can bounce back from that defeat by playing March, who've got Elan Meslier in goal. Looks like another 4-4-2-ish. Who's in defence there? Right. Oh, wow, this is quite an interesting
March
defence.
on the calendar, by the way. Patrick Kisnorbo, bandaged.
We should say the illustrations are done by Emily Tartanella, who's a Leeds fan stateside.
What?
Ace. Sorry, shouldn't have told you, should I?
Oh, it's triggered now.
There is an interview with her online, which Anthony Crewson did in the latest mag. And she's talking about how falling in love with Leeds has sort of given her a newfound sense of anxiety just in her life, which we can all understand.
You sucker. It'll do that. Right, March, we've got Kisnorbo at centre-half alongside David Weatherall in the back four, Archie Gray and Carl Dickinson at full-backs. Wow, that's exciting.
Great to see Carl Dickinson in there.
He's Elan Meslier in goal behind them. Who have we got across midfield then?
Square it, Haddy on the right wing, Haddy Sacco, Terry Yorath and Seth Johnson in the middle, Albert Johansson on the left wing. Pretty pleased he got in there. And up front, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Tom Jennings, who I think is one of Leeds' greatest goal scorers.
What's your favourite Tom Jennings goal?
His last one.
Yeah, right. I think I remember him most from the Checkatrade Trophy.
Right.
No, he was. He's born in 1902 on this.
Right.
It says, which I believe is true. Yeah. So limited footage.
Right.
But scored a lot of goals. So.
Which counts for a lot, and I think Hasselbank's going to get a lot. That's a very dangerous front line.
It's a shame they're going to have Haddy Sacco.
I was going to say,
to give them the ball.
You're going to get a lot of change out of Albert Johansson, but you worry about Haddy Sacco's involvement. Is there enough creativity there with Seth Johnson and Terry Yorath, or is that a destroying midfield?
It's a destroying midfield and a destroying left back. And in Kisnorbo, quite a destroying centre back as well.
Well, if you want some creativity again, got Casper Sloth off the bench.
Right.
This is a hard team, I will say, because Jennings was born 1902. Men in that age were just generally harder, and football was harder.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a bit of a shock for people to play against, I would suggest.
Yeah, like everyone's having cigarettes at halftime. He's in the dressing room, so everybody get this down you. It'll give you a bit of pep for the second
He's
half.
had half a pint of brandy at halftime.
Elon Melier in goal, noted hard man.
Might benefit from the brandy, calm his nerves.
Right, so that's the March side up against August. Again, just a quick reminder, that was Nigel. It's a 4-4-2. Nigel Martin in goal, Ayling, Berardi, Cooper and Hart. Steve Stone, David Hopkin, Michael Doyle, Felipe de Costa with McCormack and Bridges up front. Who is taking the spoils here? What do you reckon?
There's a lot of potential for violence in this game.
Yeah, there is.
Berardi in the other team as well.
Hopkin could look after himself as well.
Terry Yorath, didn't he end that bloke's career in the European Cup final?
Yeah, I can see Yorath and Berardi getting into it.
Is this match going to get abandoned? Too many red cards.
Maybe this ends 0-0.
Is it 0-0 abandoned?
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Real attritional game, this. Not one for the purists.
0-0.
It's a grind, and as soon as it looks like something's happening, the ball gets passed to the right wing when Saka lost Steve Stone.
Kicks into touch
or doesn't move. Luke Ayling's trying to run both wings by himself because he's got Steve Stone, Ian Hart and Felipe de Costa as the other wide options.
It looks like August are going out then without having scored a goal, which comes as a surprise to me with McCormack and Bridges up front, but they've struggled. They've struggled.
I'd say so.
Right, which leaves a deciding tie, I suppose, between October and March.
Should have said October's picture. Rodney Wallace, if you're on the video there.
Oh, a brilliant left winger.
Yes, very much well remembered as being a good left winger.
This is a fluid 4-4-2, 4-3-3 type setup, is this, I think, isn't it? A reminder here, so your October lineup is Paul Robinson, you've got Paul Reaney, Brendan Ormsby, Norman Hunter, Frank Gray, Somerville, Ribeiro, Sheridan and Wallace, with Smith and Viduka up front against a March team that has, let's have a look, Melier, Gray, Weatherall, Kisnorbo, Dickinson, Sacco, Yorath, Johnson, Johansson, Hasselbank and Tom Jennings up front. What's happening here?
The intriguing matchup here is surely the granddad against grandson.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
The fullbacks will be running into each other, won't they?
Oh, my God.
It's hard to imagine them not being the same age now, theoretically, for this.
Granddad,
which obviously
what are you doing here?
They have to be. You've got to imagine Archie gets the better of him these days.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm emotionally caught up on that.
Maybe this is the antidote to the violence of the other game. This is quite there's a nice spirit to this game, I think. I think there's goals in it as well. March do have Hasselbank and Jennings up front. They've got to get a goal, haven't they?
There's almost a testimonial feel to this.
Yeah, I think maybe like a high-scoring draw, like a 2-2 or something.
And Carl Dickinson won't just be violent in this. He'll be playing a pantomime villain, you know. Maybe he gets a comedy red card, I don't know, to try and keep everyone's laughing as he's sent off, you know, and he's playing to the crowd, that kind of thing. There's somebody else who's getting a comedy red card. Who on the other side is going to get a comedy red card? It'll be Alan Smith, and it won't be comedy.
Viduka had one in him as well, didn't he? He could be quite stroppy.
Only towards the end.
I mean, there is Norman Hunter in this team as well.
Yeah, but I think Norman knew where the line was.
He knew where the line was in 1970s anyway. Whether or not we're playing by modern rules, right, may struggle a bit.
Are we saying maybe this is a high-scoring draw?
Yeah, let's go for that.
I think so.
4-4?
Fine.
Right. Which I think, looking at the results, their two draws, it means October win this group. Yeah, so Smith and Viduka go through to the next round. You excited by that?
Yes.
So that means, I think, hang on a minute, that's Group C. A C playing B. So it'll be October versus December in the semi-finals, but I can't wait for that.
Oh, it's going to be a big one. They'll be dancing in the streets of
Group C.
October, Group C stuff.
Group D then, so it's June, November and January who are in this group. Should we have June against November first?
Is this still going?
Yes.
You created this format.
It really is.
Oh, God, we should have made a shorter format, shouldn't we?
I said winner stays on. Would have been done by now.
Right, June, 4-4-2. Mervyn Day, Lee Bromby, Andy O'Brien, Gordon McQueen, Stephen Craney. You've got Jordan Bataka.
Christ, that's a slow team.
In there. Rudy Austin, Mateus Click, Luis Sinistera, and then a front line of Tony Yeboah and Duncan McKenzie. That's exciting.
That defence is appalling, though.
Yeah,
it's incredibly slow.
I was disappointed Sinistera had to get in there as well.
Well, November, I've got Casper Ankergren in goal, Alfie Haaland. Is Alfie Haaland subbing in at right back there?
Yeah, you got to make it work somehow.
Fine. Tom Lees and Paul Butler at centre half with Ben Parker at left back. Maxi Gradle, Johnny Giles, Fab Delph, Dan James. I like that. And then you've got Frank Worthington and Terry Connor up front.
This was the team that Rio Ferdinand probably should have been in.
Right.
But I preferred Paul Butler and Tom Lees to him.
November are absolutely walking this. You've got Bromby and Craney up against Gradle and James.
Right. 5-0?
They can't cope with that, can they?
No.
I was watching because it's today's 19 years since the win at Southampton.
Liam Miller.
And I think it's Stephen Craney on the footage just getting run past, and you've never seen a man look so slow.
Right.
It's unreal that he was trying to even play football at the speed he was operating at. So yeah, I don't think he's getting away with it in this game.
Right.
June's midfield of Austin and Click is quite good. That'd be fun. And Yeboah and McKenzie up front is good.
So it's what 5-0 to November was that?
Well, I think they get some goals because they've got Yeboah and
5-2
and some decent midfielders too. But yeah, I just feel like you're going to be in a situation that's like that Huddersfield game when they had that fat lad playing,
right?
And we just took the piss of him for that first half.
5-2.
Well, June could bring on John Kevin Augustin as well.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
That changes things. Not much.
Well, can June salvage something then when they face January? And January is made up of Rob Green, Andy Hughes, Jonathan Woodgate, Sol Bamba, Mike Whitlow, James Milner, Lee Bowyer, Vinnie Jones, that's a hard midfield, Eddie Gray, Culture, Tony Curry, and Kamar Roof. Who's the artwork for January, Michael? Can you...
It is James Milner.
Jimmy Milner.
The favourite player of Premier League referees.
Right. And how are they getting on against June? That June team, Mervyn Day, Lee Bromby, Andy O'Brien, Gordon McQueen, Stephen Craney, Bataka, Austin, Click, Sinistera, Yeboah, McKenzie.
I'd favour January here, I think. That midfield is pretty good. Milner, Bowyer, Jones, Gray. I fancy that.
Yeah. Kamar Roof unattached still.
Really?
Isn't he? In real life. I saw he's been linked with people in the Championship because he's a free agent. Should get him back. Can no. Okay. All right, fine. I'm slightly disappointed to see Andy Hughes not a left back, but it's understandable that Whitlow has to get a spot. Just because I enjoy watching him head the ball back from left back.
You can do it from right back.
Suppose you can.
How's this one faring then? What's happening here?
I'm going with January. I just think the other defence is too poor, which is a bit of a disservice to Gordon McQueen. But then he went to Scum, so fuck him.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Sound logic. Yep.
I mean, fair enough. If
I don't make the rules.
We do petting us well on this show, so that's fine. What's the score?
You should say some numbers. Right?
3-1.
Right. 3-1 to January, was it?
Yeah.
Fine. Which will eliminate June, I think.
I feel at this stage we might be putting people off buying this calendar.
You don't have to listen to us when you have the calendar. You just look at it.
So January facing November for the right to progress in this group. November currently ahead on goal difference.
I'm glad you can keep track of it. I have no idea what's going on.
Right. So January, Green, Hughes, Woodgate, Bamba, Whitlow, Milner, Bowyer, Jones, Eddie Gray, Tony Curry and Kamar Roof. Up against Casper Ankergren, Alfie Haaland, Tom Lees, Paul Butler, Ben Parker, Max Gradle, Johnny Giles, Fab Delph, Dan James, Frank Worthington, Terry Connor. Are
we allowing November's fullbacks to be injury-free? Because Haaland and Parker were both quite chronically injured footballers.
It's up to you, man.
I feel like we're going to have to cut them some slack here because the chance of getting them both on the pitch at once is pretty slim otherwise. And Paul Butler, someone who's not pretty slim. Generally.
James Milner's going to be there and he's a machine. I know Eddie Gray suffered with his injuries. But let's assume they're all fit.
Okay.
Well, if you need subs off the bench in November, is Alex Sabella, Ramon Nunes and Andy Gray, just to complete the Greys. In January, you have Dylan Kerr, Helder Costa, Samu Saiz, bit of flair off the bench.
Bit of phlegm.
Well, yeah, that as well.
Oh, is it a draw?
I feel like no one's got any strong opinions, which may be because the feature's flailing.
Completely run out of legs.
Or it could be because it's a draw. It's a draw.
What do you think the score's going to be? Just they're playing out of 1-1?
1-1.
Right. Who's scored? Some players?
Yeah.
Good. Which means that November inched through on goal difference, which is exciting, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's November versus February. in one semi-final, and then October versus December in another one.
I mean, December's going to win it. We know.
Should we just do that? Should we just give him it now?
No, we've come this far.
Are we going to do more of this?
There might be some twists and turns. Who knows?
We'll do one tie a week now. We won't,
and we'll discuss it for 90 minutes.
We'll get it out of the way soon.
Yeah, December's going to win, isn't it?
Probably. Yeah.
I could have told you that at the start, but you know.
In for a penny, in for a pound, Rob. thesquareball.net/calendar. Thank you for tolerating this. Speak soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.